My name is Theo, a 24-year-old drifter, lost in the noisy streets of Seattle back in the summer of 1998. My life was a tangled mess then. No family to lean on, no steady job, just memories of a childhood scarred by wounds I tried to bury deep. When I stumbled upon a faded job posting on a gas station bulletin board, fire watch duty at Hollow Watch, deep in the Olympic wilderness, I thought it was my chance to escape. A month of solitude, watching the forest and earning enough to start over. Little did I know, that place would change me forever. The first day I arrived, I stood before the rotting wooden door of the tower and felt as if it had been waiting for me all along. The structure, about 30 feet high, was built from weathered oak, standing alone amidst the endless sea of evergreens in Olympic National Forest. Mist clung to it like a shroud, and the distant hoot of an owl sent a shiver down my spine. I carried little, a sleeping bag, a few cans of food, and an old radio provided by the base station. Stepping inside, the damp, musty smell hit me, mingled with the scent of decaying wood. I told myself I'd get used to it. But that first night, when a cold wind slipped through the cracks, carrying whispers with no clear source, like the murmurs of forgotten souls, I knew I wasn't alone. And those whispers, they weren't human. The next morning, I began my duties. I brewed a cup of tea from wild leaves I'd gathered in the forest, the faint aroma offering a sliver of comfort. I climbed to the observation deck, my hands trembling as I gripped the binoculars, scanning the rolling hills and hidden streams below the canopy. Olympic Forest was breathtaking, golden sunlight piercing the leaves, birds singing a natural symphony. But then, as my gaze settled on the northern valley, I saw it. A strange flicker of light, darting between the trees, like the eyes of some unseen creature watching me. I rubbed my eyes, convincing myself it was a reflection off water. But when I looked again, it was still there, moving slowly, as if studying me. My heart pounded. Cold sweat beaded on my forehead despite the crisp air. I hurriedly sketched its location in my logbook, my pen scratching erratically, as if my hand had a mind of its own. Later, as I bent to retrieve my pencil, I noticed something caught on the window frame. A tattered scrap of fabric, black as charred coal, reeking of damp mold and an odd metallic tang, like rain-soaked earth mixed with iron. I brought it to my nose, and a chill raced down my spine, as if someone had just breathed on my neck. That evening, as I checked the radio to report in, a peculiar sound emerged, a soft tapping, like fingers drumming on wood, coming from the base of the tower. I leaned closer, pressing my ear to the glass, straining to listen. The taps were uneven, almost playful, like a game. I grabbed the radio, my voice shaky as I called the base station, but all I got was static crackling before the signal died, leaving a deafening silence. I crept to the window, hesitating before pulling the curtain aside. Under the frail moonlight, I saw them. Slender figures, taller than any man, gliding silently, their elongated arms brushing the ground like dry branches. One lifted its head, and I swear I saw a smile, a pale, unnatural curve on a featureless face. No eyes, no nose, just that grin. In my panic, I stumbled backward, and my hand brushed a loose floorboard. Lifting it, I found an old journal, its leather cover torn, the first page scrawled with frantic handwriting. They come when the forest falls silent. Do not let them hear your voice. Ch. Grayson, 1952. I flipped through, the later pages growing wilder, as if the writer had lost their mind before stopping entirely. The tapping grew louder, joined by a faint hiss, like a breath, and I slammed the window shut, locking it tight. My heart hammering in my chest. The third night, the tapping turned to scratching, sharp claws raking the wood, deliberate and relentless. I felt the vibrations rise through the tower, as if they were climbing the stairs. I lit the oil lamp, my hand shaking as I held it over the edge, and saw them. Gaunt forms, gray skin draped in shredded rags, crawling up like insects. One raised its head, its eyes glowing red like burning coals, locking onto mine. I screamed, slamming my staff against the floor to drown out the sound. And they paused, but those eyes never left me. Desperate, I stumbled to the flare gun, fingers trembling as I pulled the trigger. Red light erupted, tearing through the darkness, illuminating the forest. They vanished, leaving behind a sulfurous stench, like the breath of hell itself. But at the tower's base, I found an ancient stone circle, etched with strange runes, as if it were a forgotten gateway. As the flare's glow faded, a deep voice rumbled from the stones. "We will return when you sleep." I knelt, touching the runes, and a cold current surged through me, as if something had brushed my very soul. I collapsed, clutching my head. The red light reflecting off my pallid face, the circle flickering briefly before going dark, plunging me into silence. The next morning, the rescue team arrived, their vehicle's rumble breaking the stillness. They didn't believe me. "Probably wolves or bears," one chuckled, dismissing the stone circle. But the sulfur smell lingered, and those runes seemed to mock their skepticism. I left with a hollow feeling, and a burning frustration that no one took me seriously. In 2005, after years of wrestling with my thoughts, I returned with a video camera to capture the truth. The forest was serene. No sound, but the gentle wind through the trees. I reviewed the footage, hoping for evidence. And there, between frames, I saw them. Smiling figures lurking behind the foliage, and one holding a camera, as if it had been filming me all along. As the truck drove away, my camera whirred to life again, recording the tower from a distance, where a towering silhouette stood, its red eyes blinking like a signal. Perhaps they never left. Perhaps they're waiting for me, or for someone else. Do you believe what I saw? If you've experienced something strange, share your story in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to uncover more chilling mysteries that await us.